Hello and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. Cirrus the Skeptic over there. Do you still go by Cirrus the Skeptic?
I mean, I still do that same kind of content.
It's been a while. The word skeptic is kind of tainted nowadays.
It's one of those things where, like, if somebody calls me Cyrus the Skeptic, I'm fine with it because I'm like, I mean, I still do that kind of content. But I did rebrand the channel to just Cyrus after a while. I was like, it's just this. That way, if I want to complain about Nintendo misusing the Pokemon franchise, I can without somebody going, is that actually skeptic content? No, it's not. And fuck you.
All right. So Scott Dillahunt on my side. So Cirrus and I are simul streaming. So he's streaming over on his Twitch channel, which link is in my description. Don't click on that until after you're done watching my stream. But
Likewise,
yeah, so we might be, so like I might be referencing people in my chat that Cirrus's chat won't see, and he'll be referencing stuff in his chat that mine won't see. Scott Dillahunt on my end says, if I could redo the lyrics of the final countdown, I'd have the Rhino countdown here. Absolutely. If somebody is musically gifted enough that they can like write a version of the final countdown that's the Rhino countdown, and it's different enough that it won't get flagged by the copyright bots, I will absolutely use that. That would be amazing. I do have to show off. I just got this shirt in the mail. It's Beware of the Demo Wookie. I like it. I thought it was cute. It's just, it's kind of dumb, but I saw an ad for it and I was like, oh, I'm going to buy that. And the tracking for the package says it's still in Chicago.
Fair. Also, anybody who happens to be watching on my end, if you use the !collab command, it'll bring you a link not only to Vice Rhino's channel, but specifically to the video that is going live on his feed right now over on the Watering Hole channel for Vice. That way you can not only hit the like button on that channel, but throw a subscribe over there and check out that chat while we're here. That way, you know, there's actually people liking that over there. There's 27 watchers over there and only 4 likes, and all of you are monsters. Get those numbers balanced. All of you.
You know, there's got to be, somebody has to have put a service together that will like combine all the chats into one.
Oh, there is one.
But I guess the problem with that is if not everybody's using it, then it's just going to be very confusing.
Not to mention when you are combining the chats into one, the problem you run into is it's typically combining the chats for multiple channels you have into a single one. And then just putting that feed out there. So you would have to bespokenly change that feed every single time that you were doing a collaboration. And since most collaborations are also like not cross Twitch and YouTube the way we're doing right now, it's typically also not as problematic as like when it's just Twitch, people can do multi-Twitch, which allows them to see multiple people who are streaming together at the same time in one screen. But when it's Twitch and YouTube, they don't like playing together.
No, they don't. Well, YouTube several years ago now, it used to be really easy to integrate with certain things. Like you could have, when you publish a video, it posts automatically to Facebook and Twitter and all the social medias and everything. But I guess with the community tab, they're trying to like corner that segment of the market, but nobody really uses it. So they removed that functionality before they came out with the community tab thing. And so now it's like, okay, well, my podcast auto posts to Twitter, so yeah, that's good enough for me.
Yeah,
it's actually I think it's kind of cute and thoughtful. Every now and then I get a comment on my videos being like, "Oh, I would listen to your podcast, but I'm afraid that would take money away from you because you get more money from my view over here on YouTube." It's like, first off, I made it available for you guys to like to make your life easy, to make it easier for you to consume my content. But I also I used to keep pretty close track of the numbers. They could have changed by now. I don't imagine they've changed a lot, but dollars per view is basically the same where I host my podcast and YouTube. So it makes no difference to me where you watch it, except that podcasts don't do the algorithm thing where they'll like recommend things to you to watch next, and if more people interact with your thing, then it recommends your video to more people. Like that's the only real difference. But
I
anyway,
know for,
that was unrelated to anything.
I mean, is a general thing. We've never been on topic for the beginning of these.
No,
Not once, and I
no.
don't think starting now would be good because now that we've established that we get off the record and off track, we can't get back on track because that would be getting off track now.
Well, I mean, when it's you and me, we always have to have a bit of an ADHD discussion. So on this channel, my whole thing with the 3 news items and then the tweets is that I will then have a video that I can chop up into little more digestible bits and upload them by themselves. And it's supposed to be like easier for people that can't watch the whole stream to watch, and
Yeah.
10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, sort of thing. I currently have 2 full streams that one of them is completely chopped up and ready to go. It's actually all the I think I got 6 clips out of that one, and they're all uploaded. That's the one I did with Jimmy a couple weeks ago, but I haven't made the thumbnails for him yet, and so they're just sitting there waiting for me to publish them. And then the stream I did the week after, that was with Atheist Junior. That one is I haven't chopped that one up yet, but the chopping up doesn't take long. So
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we're in the exact same boat. The thing that I just did with Jimmy is chopped up. Every bit is uploaded to my channel with SEO and everything done. So I just went to my Yarakoro, who does my thumbnails, and just sent her a message. Was like, hey, these are the unlisted links to all of these episodes. Thumbnail them whenever.
Jasa says, Rhino and Sura Senpai notice me. I notice you often enough that I recognize your name, Jasa.
Is that Jasa Proxy?
There is no last name with it. It just says Jasa.
I'm just wondering if, because on Twitch I think they're Jasa Proxy.
Okay.
And if it's the same person, then there we are. And if it was, then I was going to preemptively misspeak and say their name is Jasa, specifically because I know that Jimmy did that last time.
Oh, see,
so
have I been? Wait, are you telling me I've been accidentally saying it correctly this whole time?
Yes.
Wow, because I'm never sure. Like when I see even with simple names like that, it's like it could be Jasa, it could be Jasa. Oh, Apology is here. That means he's got power at the moment.
Oh no.
So he says, I chop a new piece each day in a panic. I have 0 production queue game on live video. Yeah. I kind of do that too. Except because this is a different channel. I'm having trouble getting into the mind space of like, this is also part of my job, so I need to get it done by a certain time.
Yep.
Whereas like my regular videos, like every Friday, I haven't missed a Friday in years. Except for when I've had like people covering for me. I miss Mondays every now and then. I try to get videos out on Mondays, but like, y'all know my life is a hectic mess right now, so I can't always do that. So yeah. And yes, confirmed Jasa is the same Jasa on mine as yours.
There we go. It is the same both ways. Cool. Now I know who we're dealing with.
Okay.
Now I can discriminate as need be. I'm kidding.
We like Jasa.
I think God damn it. I think for me the fact that I used to do purely edited content with like some live streams sprinkled in, and eventually just did it to where all of my content came from live stream and then cutting up the bits of the live stream to make videos. Like eventually that just became 100% of my content. So like there's the only time that I miss uploads now is if I finished the stream, looked at all of the bits that I'd cut out already, and went, I'm too tired to edit those. I'm going to sleep.
So Lord of Uzkolak says, if you want to have fun trying to pronounce stuff, Vice, give this thing a try. My first instinct was that's the volcano in Iceland, but no, that looks almost Welsh to me. Can you see that on your end?
I can see that on my end.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a place name.
Lanfair,
I have heard that pronounced out loud. No, that's not true. No. But oh, you know what? I think I think you guys are all like hearing my notification sounds that are coming through. So let me close a couple programs so we stop getting that.
I'm so viced.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna cut out one small bit of this and send it to you. Or actually, I'm just gonna put it in your chat. Wait, no, I can't do that because it was a picture I just grabbed. What am I doing? I just tried to put a picture in your live chat. That's not gonna work. That's all
so
three
wait,
of my brain
are
cells.
are you telling me you're about to send me a picture over the messaging app that I just closed because all my notifications were coming through to the stream?
Well, one, yes, but two, you know what the mute button is, right?
Oh yeah. There's Chernobyl's in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's why
in
I
the
was
middle.
like, no, I'm pretty sure that's Chernobyl. That's how I'd pronounce that. Chernobyl. It's almost
Scott Dillahunt says there's a reason why Wheel of Fortune doesn't do well in Wales. I'd like to buy a vowel. There are no vowels to be bought.
reminds me of the most. There's a card that everybody in the Magic the Gathering community lovingly calls Asmo, because they refuse to pronounce the entirety of the name, which is Asmarandum Archedice Kuldakar.
Nice.
The name is so long that it stretches from end to end on the card, with no spaces or anything, and everybody's pretty certain that Wizards of the Coast had that card made just so they could say, this is the second longest name we've put on a card, and the first longest one we've put on an official card that you can play.
Did you hear about the Nazis Wizard of the Coast kerfuffle?
No, unless we're talking about the Invoke Prejudice one that they had to get rid of.
No. See, there's this group of people that, well, they're Nazis. They're like out and out Nazis. They have kind of co-opted one of the older games that isn't really all that popular. It was like D&D but in space. I forget what it's called, but it was I don't know if they actually thought it or whether they just thought they might be able to get away with making that argument in court. But their argument is that the trademark was abandoned, so it's fair game. They can use it. So they basically created a space Nazi D&D game that, like, right from page 1 of the user manual is like, well, if you're if you choose this race, then some races are just inherently more intelligent than others, and it's just Star Frontiers. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, and it's just awful, and yeah, they're in court now.
Why?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know, but I heard about that from opening arguments. So people who watch my streams regularly know that I listen to opening arguments. It's a great legal podcast if you're interested in that sort of thing. I mostly use it to like kind of keep up on like what's going on in like with Trump's legal troubles, because they'll often approach things from different perspectives from most of the media, because like Andrew Torres is the lawyer on that, and he'll like do deep dives into like these obscure aspects of the case that nobody else seems to be noticing. And so it's neat to have that perspective on those sorts of things. But they like their non-Trump stuff is really good as well. Anyway,
I got in your chat. Cirrus has a Warhammer, but does Cirrus have 40k Warhammers?
No,
joke.
Cirrus paid 40k for that Warhammer.
I paid $40 for it. I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, so Jas is saying I forget the rules, but I think it takes a while for a trademark to die or become generic. Yeah, it does. Now, I think they would technically be within that time frame, because it was like back in the 70s was when the trademark was first applied for. But the thing is that as long as the company is doing something with it, it remains active. They have to not do anything with it. And they have been every now and then just republishing the original user manual for it and like selling it on one specific website. So it's like one of those things where they're like camping on it, where it's like, I don't know if we want to do anything with this, but we'll keep, we'll make sure the trademark remains with us so that nobody else can do anything with it. Which in this case is like, well, we don't really want Nazis doing things with it, so that's okay. And then Nuramdaputs, hello Nuramdaputs, says, hey, $40 is probably 40,000 something, decicents maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You're probably right. I'm just okay. When I buy the Warhammer 40K Magic the Gathering decks, because those come out in a week, actually, I think. I'm pretty sure it's literally just a week from now. When I purchase those, I'll put my actual Warhammer, the one that my character has on my model, because I still have that. I'll just put that on my deck and go, it's my 40K. It's my 40K Warhammer on my Warhammer 40K deck. Yay! It was a joke that nobody will get and nobody will laugh at, and that's exactly why I'll do it.
Come on, everybody knows Warhammer 40K. Like, I've never played it. I don't know what it's about, but I know it. I know there are figurines.
No, but they'll not know why I said it's a 40K Warhammer.
I think that's
only
obvious.
People on this stream will know.
I think people will get it. You're underestimating. No. Yes, you're underestimating people.
Okay.
Shall we actually do some of the stuff that we're supposed to do on the stream?
No.
Let me find my buttons. It's been a while. There we go. There's my buttons. Story number 1 comes to us from NPR. Yeshiva University cancels all clubs after it was ordered to allow an LGBTQ group. So basically, the one sentence summary is the court told them that they had to acknowledge an LGBTQ group because to have other groups and not acknowledge them would be discrimination. And so rather than do that, they took their ball and went home and said, no groups, nobody gets any groups.
So the very first thing I want to say is because, and this has nothing to do with the actual conversation here, because the first thing I'm going to say is if you look at the campus name, because the pixels are so off, does it look like MILF Campus?
No, I see it. It's very clearly WILF, but
on Zoom it's not.
As soon as you said you said the campus name, I looked and was like, yeah, I know where he's going.
Yeah, but past that, something about this kind of pisses me off because it's not just obviously it's discrimination, so it's an issue, but there's kind of a fallout effect that happens here where students who already were bigoted towards LGBTQ people are going to look at this and go, I lost chess club because of you.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to get the breadth of my wrath. And, of course, they're not going to be able to beat them up because they're from chess club, but it's fine.
Oh, I kind of wish we had Eli Bosnick on the stream now because there are jokes that I know he would make that I know I cannot make.
Well, right now my chat is nothing but people spamming in all caps MILF school, MILF school, MILF school.
MILF school. Yes, I'd go to MILF school. Well, would MILF school be for the women or for the... Are you learning how to be a MILF? Or are you learning what to do with a MILF? What do you do at a MILF school?
I think there's probably a hentai somewhere that can explain this.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Now, what I was going to say is that, I went to a school that, it was Niagara Christian Collegiate.
Mm-hmm.
And in our class picture, they took the picture out in front of the sign, and there were some people were sitting on the sign, and one person, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but knowing them, they probably did. They put their leg, they positioned their leg strategically so that it covered up part of the N. So in our class picture, it says Viagra
Christian Collegiate.
And that we all got a good laugh out of that. I think that actually made it into the yearbook. That was fun.
Rise up.
So, Yeshiva University says pausing all student clubs on campus just days after the U.S. Supreme Court refused to block a lower court ruling that ordered the school to recognize an LGBTQ group. Now that... Some people are kind of hopeful for that, where it's like, oh, well, the Supreme Court isn't completely off its rocker. But I forget the specifics on this. But they actually... it's not that the Supreme Court ruled that they had to allow the LGBTQ group. It was basically, they said, no, we are not going to take this case because their case was just so weak that they wouldn't even... It was essentially go back down to the lower courts and try again using a different legal argument, and then we'll take it on and side with you, sort of thing.
Because the U.S. Supreme Court they get about 8,000 cases a year, and they only offer rulings on about 80 of them every year. About literally 1% of cases that go to the Supreme Court ever get their hearings. Most of them get thrown back to the lower appellates. So
that's not unusual.
Yeah, that's not unusual. That's the norm. Like 99% of the time, literally, not figuratively, you go back to the appellates.
Yeah. Yeah, but in this case, because of who's on the Supreme Court right now, you'd expect them to take this up and be like, no, absolutely, you're allowed to ban the LGBTQ groups. But, like, I don't know, it's maybe a bit pessimistic of me. Oh, Neuromptiput Saul says, have some money, or have a money. Thank you, Neuromptiputs.
One money.
One. Well, it was 5 money.
It was
1 unit of 5.
1 unit of... Okay, so then it's 1 money, but it's 1 unit of 5 money. So still 1 money.
Sure.
But I guess if we're playing Kingdom Hearts, that is 5 money.
Anyway, I still have my top super chatter and top tipper thingy set up, so that puts Neuromptiputs in the top position.
Congratulations, Neuromptiputs, you're officially a top.
Well said. Yeah, and the top tipper thing, I'm supposed to have a bot going that tells you where to go to tip to not do it through super chat, but it doesn't work, and I haven't taken the time to troubleshoot it, so meh. It just looks bad on my stream now to have that thing that always says none. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, so university will hold off on all undergraduate club activities while it immediately takes steps to follow the roadmap provided by the U.S. Supreme Court to protect YU's religious freedom. So yeah, the Supreme Court sent it back with like, this is what you need to do to get it back to us so that we can cite, like, that's pretty much explicitly what they did.
You just have to wonder how. So I'm just imagining there's a school principal, because there's got to be involved at some level with this, right? There's probably just a principal sitting there looking this over and just clutching a piece of paper in frustration, just going, these darn gays are trying to take my freedoms. Can't have it. And you're just imagining this person get more and more cartoonishly angry as the situation goes on. And God. I'm just imagining them drawn in like a Butch Hartman style now, just screaming about fairy godparents, except it's gay people, and that's the thing that's got them completely off their rocker. That I can't imagine anything besides cartoonish villainy here, and I don't know why.
It's because it basically is cartoonish villainy. Like, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what is involved in a school officially recognizing a club. Like, I don't think the school actually has to do anything. I think it's just mainly that, like, the students that are a part of that club, if there's, like, a meeting or something that makes them late for a class, then that's a valid reason to be late or something. Probably.
Most of the... when I was in school, granted, I didn't get to do clubs when I was in Christian private school because I'm in a PCA. But when I was in public school...
do clubs because of who I am.
When I was in public school, I was vice president of the computer club, and all of our stuff was done after school, and that was the norm for every single club. Was like, school let out, but if it was a Tuesday and school let out, then I didn't go to the bus. I went to the classroom that we had commandeered basically for computer club, where one teacher had said, yeah, I'm the volunteer, I'll stay over watch the kids while they're doing computer club, which was really just an excuse for all of us to play Super Smash Brothers, but that's besides the point. So I'm not used to there being any like real big restrictions there, because it's usually just like, did a teacher say they could do it? Okay, you've got the stamp, let's go.
Yeah, but that wasn't a university though. That wasn't university though, right? That was like high school.
Correct. This was a high school.
Yeah, so it might be different in university. Like there might be like campus privileges that they get or something, but it's not like the school has to go out of their way to do extra things for them. It will be like, it already is completely student run. They're just not officially sanctioned. So yeah, this is like the school literally has to do pretty much nothing except say, yes, this is an official group. They don't even have to agree with their opinions. They just have to say, yeah, it's a club.
Mm-hmm. It's very easy for a school to release any organization, really, to release a statement that says we do not necessarily condone the actions of Group A, but we will not necessarily hamper the actions of Group A either. Like it's very easy to
you see that all the time.
Like
anytime that there might be like if you don't say anything, somebody might think that there's an endorsement there. Like there will always be a disclaimer being like, oh well, this person does not represent the opinions of Group X. So it's like it wouldn't be hard to just throw one of those signs up on the door or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Naram to put Saul says having a club to play Super Smash Brothers sounds valid to me. And it's like, yeah, and you can allow that club even if you're against video games. You think video games rot the brain.
Now I'm just imagining Jack Thompson.
But like allowing a video game
dean.
club will not do you any harm. Also, video games don't rot the brain. They have been shown to have a somewhat protective effect for Alzheimer's. And I doubt that that's applicable across like all categories of video games. Like it's been a while since I read the study, but it was like just one specific video game. But the idea is that like it encourages the brain to like learn new things and build new habits, and that has a protective effect against Alzheimer's.
I mean, that's kind of the same way that most, like anything that requires you to exercise any part of your body, whether it be a muscle or whether it be, the brain trying to fire synapses repeatedly, you can tell that like it's easier to formulate sentences a certain way if you've been reading books more often, because you're more used to seeing those words put together on page. It becomes easier for you to speak them over time because you're exercising that. Like that just that kind of correlation just makes sense.
I just remembered more specifically what it was. It was the fast reactions. So the fact that a lot of video games force you to decide things very quickly and in order to survive. So that made me think that like, okay, well maybe maybe slow-paced strategy games don't have the same protective effect because you have time to think about everything, whereas something that's a bit more fast-paced like a platformer might actually do better for that, or like a racing game or something. I think it was actually a racing game they were testing with.
Sorry, Grandpa, you can't play Final Fantasy VII today because you only Sonic the Hedgehog.
Absolutely. I like Final Fantasy. That's a fun game. 7's the one I got into.
There's a lot of Final Fantasies besides 7, Vice.
Right? I know there are, but they're all slightly different in ways that it's like I'd have to learn that whole thing, and I already know
they're all completely different games united only by a name.
No, there's a few things that kind of carry through all of them.
A timer bar for your turn-based actions, and
chocobos.
The names
menu
of
screen
the
theme song.
Yeah, this is like things that could loosely connect to any game series at all. Like these are the tropes that you get with like these are the things this developer is known for. Like Akira Toriyama likes to put Aurelie in things. So Aurelie from Dr. Slump is in Dragon Ball and other shit.
I have no idea what you just said.
Have you ever seen Dragon Ball Z?
I probably saw an episode or two when I was a kid because my brother was into it. Wasn't really my thing.
So the creator of the series, Akira Toriyama, has a comedy manga called Dr. Slump. In it, a character named Aurelie is one of Akira Toriyama's favorite characters. So he will haphazardly take his other works and shove Aurelie into them, whether or not she makes sense, because he's just like, nah, I just want to put him in. World's ending in Dragon Ball Z. Here's a scene with Aurelie. What? Why is she here? I don't know. You don't need to know. I'm the author, not you. You're reading. You bought it. Go away.
So because I'm so unfamiliar with the material you're talking about right now, my immediate thought was like it went to the children's book Goodnight Moon and how there's that little mouse on every page of the book. And it's always like kind of hit. Well, it's not on every page. It's on every like full done page. There's a couple like pages where it's like one thing on a white background that it's not. But
at least people in my chat are recognizing I'm talking about Aurelie, the nearsighted robot. Yes, that's the adorable robot kid.
Jassa says, I like birds. I too like birds, Jassa. So do you know what a cowbird looks like?
A cowbird?
Cowbird.
I no.
So cowbirds are one of those nasty bird species that will like lay their eggs in other birds' nests and like kill the other eggs sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, so a cowbird, it's black. It looks kind of like a grackle, but instead of having like an iridescent blue head, it's got a brown head. And the joke that my father tells is that the cowbirds look like that because they, flying too fast, they didn't know they weren't looking where they were going, and their heads ended right up a cow's ass. So that's why it's brown on top.
That that also explains why most of my managers' faces had some patches of brown on them too.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, you got something on your nose. You got something on your nose, sir. Just probably should wipe that off before telling me what the hell to do.
Anyway, we were talking about about Yeshiva University.
We were.
Jassa says I am the tangent maker. Yes, you are. Okay, so a New York State court ruled that the university had to recognize the club, and the Supreme Court has left that ruling in place for now. So they were told you have to recognize the club because to have recognized clubs on campus and to not recognize this one because they are LGBTQ is discrimination. Would that count as Title IX for this? I don't know. That's an American thing. We don't really have that in Canada.
I'm not an expert on it, so I couldn't tell you. All I can say is there is an adult somewhere in the world right now, probably at that university, probably a dean, who's just sitting there angry, viciously angry that somebody somewhere in the world is gay. And that's as far as it goes.
I can't even... Okay. Even back when I was a fucking creationist nut job, I never understood the obsession with gay people. It was just like, yeah, okay, Bible says it's wrong. Bible says it's not my place to judge, too, so whatever. And, like, I just couldn't wrap my mind around getting upset about that sort of thing, even when I thought it was wrong. And now that I'm not a Christian anymore, I can look at that and be like, okay, well, it doesn't give any reason for why it's wrong. And when research is done in the matter, it turns out that, like, mental health gets a lot better when these people are accepted for who they are.
That's a thing that I've also, like I've started steering my content in a little bit. The direction of is just going, so I have a question. I could go over all of the ways in which being gay isn't a choice, in which it's scientifically backed as a very normal behavior across multiple species. I could go into all that, but I know, not you specifically, but the bigot I'm imagining in my mind, the person I made up on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I know you don't care about that. I know you may not realize you're just being an asshole. So I'm going to change all of my questions away from the ways in which gay people are valid